Hey everyone, welcome to Tellor Dev Call, December 18th. So this will be the last one before the holidays, because next week is Christmas. So we'll just give you guys a break. I know it's fun talking to us, but you'll live. Unless something crazy comes up, we'll obviously tell you. Yeah, but still just kind of heads down, building out layer. I'm working on um, doing a lot of research on just figuring out the bridge piece. I'm going through a lot of, so we're going to be using kind of a similar mechanism as Celestia. So it's their blob stream contracts, and I'm just trying to figure out why they did a lot of things. Not necessarily, I think we have a really good knowledge now of how they did it, just trying to go back through a lot of their docs, a lot of their pull requests and comments and things like that, and figuring out why they made certain decisions so we can answer them. But obviously, Celestia is an awesome team, so so far we've aligned with a lot of reasons and reasonings that they make. Um, so yeah, that's super fun. Gonna drop another article this week, so stay tuned for that if you guys follow my Medium, Twitter. Um, yeah, and that's about it. So, uh, Dan, how's things going for you?
Pretty good. I will get a README up today for the layer GitHub. And then other than that, working on some tests, working on the academy.
Sweet. Yeah, Akram.
How you guys doing? I did the adding the base supported query IDs through the governance, added a test so that it updates when you try to change it after a vote. So that's good. But I got into trying to import the prices module from the prices module, the APIs and all that from VueIDX, but try to finish it this weekend, but it was it's bigger than I expected. So finally got the chain to start. So I just need to sit through that, see. And the nice thing about it is you can, because it uses a lot of APIs or it has a lot of exchanges on the module, that you can send a message request given that you're an authority, or you can vote on it, you can add tickers to it. So I think that would be nice later. Yeah, so I'm going to try to see if I can use that in order to be able to, check the blocks, see if they're empty, and then,
I'm
whatever's
guessing you'll
empty.
have to keep like a file somewhere of all your like API.
Yeah, well, I kind of imported whatever they had, so it's a
Okay.
huge. So I'll keep working on that on a side branch because it's probably gonna take a little bit of time.
I saw you have a PR too. That's good to go.
That's for the governance. Yeah, I was gonna share that later, but
Okay,
I guess.
cool. Yeah, no, we can go over it later.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Akram. Tim.
Yeah, I'm also working on a README for the bridge because I think that's in a good place right now. Um, and then I'm working on some using Teller functions which call that bridge and testing that out. Um, and then I think I can very soon switch gears to the layer side of this Celestia stuff or blob stream stuff.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to you getting a little more familiar with Go.
Same here.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, how's things?
Good. Just between the Interchain Academy, we just went over some front end stuff, and between that and I've been going over the tech doc and running it against the code, the Teller layer code. I want to kind of use that to go back to the block explorer and kind of deconstruct it so I can fully understand what's going on the technical side and be able to hit the ground running when we get the testnet going and have data run through it.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Spotty?
Like we talked about on last week's dev call, we have the DVM going to the public Discord now. I made a couple of announcements about it. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. Feel free to ping me. We don't currently have any testnet tests planned, but we can do We could do like a test
a
bed
fire
value
drill.
on testnet, fire drill, just to see how the public reacts. It'll be on
Or doesn't.
Sequoia, or doesn't, yeah, to see if anybody's paying attention, to see what happens. I've got that branch of Telliot I was working on where we want to automatically submit if the teller value is stale. We were working on that for the Origin guys and Ty. I have it working. I have to write a more meaningful test for that is one thing. And then there's the Academy and yeah.
Cool. And then at some point, if you can get a node up and run for Ryan, try and figure out what it looks like to host a node.
Sure.
That would be, should be a fun one for you.
Yeah.
Since you already do it with an Ethereum one, I'm guessing it's going to be very similar.
The hosting part, I got that down. If we can get the chain going,
All right.
we can host it.
It'll just be like, yeah, different ports and everything.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. Mike, Brenda, you guys need anything?
I guess I'll say,
Or will you publish an article?
yeah, I don't know if we talked about it on the last week's call,
No.
but yeah, I published an article on LSTs, just sort of a high level, like Oracle perspective on security issues with LSTs and LST feeds specifically, but also more generally. So check it out if you're not familiar. I think it'll be pretty, I wanted to make it pretty accessible to anybody. And stay tuned for, it's that time of year. It's the end of the year. We'll do a year in review. We're probably going to do a year in review call. We typically do one. It might be just timing wise, it might be after the new year when we do that one. Or maybe, I don't
Middle
know.
of the week, yeah.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, Happy New Year to you guys and Merry Christmas.
Cool. Any questions today?
We had that firestorm of Crossy questions I thought were pretty cool about the technical doc. We should probably go through those if you're down.
For sure. Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, we released kind of a draft white paperish thing for Tellor Layer. It's just kind of what we're building. Not necessarily why we're building it, but more on like the docs of how it's going to work. And then we got some good feedback from Crossy, one of our longtime community members, which is great.
Yeah, so here's his comments and questions. So first, the question is weighted contribution equals staked value?
Yeah, so that's how, when you're talking about how rewards are distributed, it's, so like, let's say there's a 1 TRB tip for a given value. All of the it's unlike current Tellor, all the validators can say like, give a price for it. So let's say somebody tips the ETH price. Everybody can then submit the value. The reward is distributed based upon your weighted contribution, or basically your stake relative to other people's stake. So if you have 10% of the stake in the whole network, you're going to get 10% of that tip. If you have 50%, you're going to get 50%, and so on. So it doesn't matter. It's not like current Tellor where you stake 100, and then if you're the first person, you get the tip. Now, if you stake 100 and you're the only person that reports, you get 100% of that tip.
You mean like if you're the only validator,
If you're the only
built in.
Yeah, if you're the only validator that reports for that given query, you get 100% of the tip. If you have 100 and all the other validators have like 100,000 and they also support and will report for ETHUSD, then you probably won't get a whole lot. You'll get a little bit, but
you get like the same proportion that you would get just for validating if everybody is supporting.
yes. So
But this would incentivize validators to pay attention to users onboarding.
Yeah.
And because there's going to be an incentive to be an early supporter
Yep.
of any user that's tipping.
so
And then on the comment about validators will report for the next query ID in the list, he had concerns about having to report on risky IDs that don't have enough sources of truth.
yeah, we can go back through the doc and just make sure it's very clear. You don't ever have to report. If you don't want to report, you do not have to. You can validate the chain, like just publish, this was a valid transaction, this person reported, but if somebody asks for a price and you don't feel comfortable submitting it, you do not have to support it. We are going to have what are called the base queries, which Akrem was just talking about a PR for that, the cycle list in there. So that's voted on. So we can vote on adding them. Those will be the big ones that we just basically cycle through. So think ETH USD, TRB USD, Bitcoin USD, very well known, going to be well supported ones. And the only reason we do that is just so that way, kind of like we're not just making empty blocks. We might as well be producing something of value for users to grab. And you prevent unnecessary tips from miners who wouldn't, they would see time-based rewards. They want to go get those time-based rewards, but there's no tips. So they would go tip themselves and then report for it, which is like an anti-pattern because like they don't actually want to tip a given one. They would just, let's just cycle through them, which is way better than,
pick Litecoin.
Yeah, well, because like what happens now is, like they can just pick whichever one they want to report for. And that's not very optimal because we would rather just like cycle through a list of them that our users are actually using, not have them submit Litecoin prices when nobody needs Litecoin prices. So yeah.
Reporters can be staked validators or other participants depending on the network's rules. And then I guess he's asking for clarification. What are the network rules?
Yeah, so this is another thing we just have to clarify. Reporters and staked validators are the same thing. So it's just, yeah, we have to work on that. Since they are the same thing, we're still working on the wording. When do we use the term reporter versus validator? I don't know. Like a validator reports, maybe?
Yeah. Like
maybe we can get rid of the word validator and just use it in a verb sensage.
Or you mean get rid of the word reporter and use it as an action?
As an action that a
can
validator,
do.
yes,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Valiporter?
Valiporter.
Valiporter?
There you go.
That's the best one I could come up.
Repalidator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Valiporter's better than that.
And parties will relay regarding the comment, and parties will relay the requested data and signatures. He's asking, will an app run by the team for mainnet?
So this is like who's going to relay this stuff over?
Great question.
We'll probably push them over, just kind of like we do, but it's trustless, so anybody can grab those values and push it over. Hopefully, it's the users doing it, the users paying for it. Probably to show liveness on some chains, we'll probably be helping run those and maintain those. But yeah, it's completely trustless. So hopefully anybody will do it.
Withdrawals from Layer to Ethereum will be 28 days. His question is, what would be the path for converting to ETH or other coins? Would Binance support this new chain for withdrawal and deposits? Otherwise, this adds an enormous risk to reporters.
For sure. Yeah, so I mean, right when we launch, there probably will be nothing. Exchanges usually take some time, a couple months to switch over. So there will be some initial risk, and that's why it's opt-in. So you don't have to bridge your tokens over. If you do bridge your tokens over, you're going to get, obviously, it's a weighted contribution thing. You'll get a little bit more inflationary rewards because we will switch the time-based rewards over to there. So you're free to switch over whenever you want, and then you can start reporting, never forced to. But yeah, hopefully exchanges will. Obviously, DYDX has gone through an ETH to Cosmos token. It's, tons of giant tokens are Cosmos tokens, so it's not like we're going to some brand new chain that they don't know how to support. So we think they should switch over relatively quickly. Obviously, we don't know. There's also, hopefully somebody will set up like an Osmosis DEX, or there's Cosmos DEXs as well that you can go trade on and probably switch out. So going to be lots of different ways that you can get out, but what happens in the markets, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
And then lastly, for mainnet, users will need to continue to incentivize TRB token holders. Do you not see this as a problem?
No, I mean, I think as I had said in the response, so almost all of our users are upgradable. So like they can switch, like obviously if every user, we're not like saying goodbye to all of our other users. You can't use this one. What we're saying is that you can keep using the current teller as it is. Over time, more reporters are going to switch over to Layer, and you're going to have to pay sort of more of a premium in order to keep them here.
Current teller will still work
Current teller will,
forever.
yeah,
It's like Uniswap V2.
There's just less, and it's gonna be a little bit less secure because there's not as much.
maybe not even less
Maybe not as
secure,
much
yeah, but it's
TRV staked there.
it should be plenty secure. You know, we're making sure that it is. It's just going to be you're going to have to pay them a little bit more.
Right, because
to
we
get
don't,
more
we will
free
no longer
rewards.
subsidize them with inflationary rewards.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, but it should be good, and we think most of the users are just going to upgrade to the newer one. Probably the other people we know who can't are looking to upgrade over time anyway, so everybody will probably be switched over within a year, which is kind of the timeline we're expecting.
And values from teller layer can be bridged to like current teller anyway, right? Somehow. I don't know if there's any plans to do that. Did I just come up with something new?
I mean, you could request a teller layer value from normal teller.
Oh, and someone could report it.
Somebody
Yeah.
could report it. Could be. I don't know if that's adding risk or removing it.
That sounds like an oracle for an
Yeah.
oracle.
Yes. Well, it's the same way like teller could technically report chain link prices. Like, I guess it works, but you're just like adding risk versus subtracting. So anyway, that it?
Well, actually, there was one the day earlier that I forgot to ask. Was he was asking why do we need 300K tokens to mint to the team to bootstrap Layer?
The whole reason for that is just like the team doesn't have a whole lot of tokens, and we want to leave our tokens over here on mainnet to make sure that our users are secure here. But then if you launch a chain and any whale could come over and sort of easily take it over, it's very, very insecure. So that's what we just wanted to have some sort of initial bootstrap, and so we have some liquidity over on Cosmos, and then also that you have a validator set that isn't sort of minuscule and able to like upgrade the chain maliciously. Obviously, bootstrapping these things is always an issue with the chains. We're a little bit farther along. We don't have this problem nearly as much as other chains in that we have a very liquid, valuable token. So like people are going to want to validate and speculate on validation, even if they can't sell it right away, just because you know that you're probably going to be able to sell it. Whereas, you know, normally brand new Cosmos chains are like, you know, kind of like proof of work mining on a really tiny coin. It's like, it's a shot in the dark. So I don't think we're gonna have a problem getting validators, but we want to make sure that we maintain some semblance of control over it for the first few months, especially. So that's that purpose.
It's like right in the beginning when the chain starts, you know, the chain has to be, doesn't the chain have to be working before anybody can bridge tokens to it?
Yes, because we're using it as a bridge.
And then for the chain
Yeah.
to be working, there has to be validators. So, yeah.
It's a weird catch-22.
Yep.
But happy to be super transparent with it, kind of like always. So we're just going to be reporting. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone. Merry Christmas if we don't talk to you, and see you maybe in the new year.